Got my eyes straight ahead, got my head in the game. With the red light on, I'm just waiting for the change. Keep my head down low.
So some people do not believe in the slippery slope argument. So I believe this next story that I'm going to read to you is a definite example of a slippery slope and how one decision, taking a certain path, can in the future lead you to drastic circumstances in the future, have dramatic outcomes. And no matter what warnings we hear along the way, we insist on taking the path, and then we end up seeing dire consequences in the future, and then everyone behaves like they're surprised that it could possibly have gone this way. And then people still talk and argue, so no, the slippery slope is just a fallacy. It's not. It doesn't happen in reality. I think this story supports the argument that there definitely is a slippery slope in our society when we take a certain path. Check this story out. I got to tell you, I was, I wish I could say I was surprised. I was saddened. You might have seen the story come up. It did garner quite a bit of publicity. This young female here, let's have a read of it. Physically healthy 28-year-old woman schedules euthanasia due to depression. Before we get into that, I just want to check out. This is what we have: different assisted voluntary. They call it VAD here in Australia, voluntary assisted dying laws. So just in all our states, it's now euthanasia is now legal. So individuals must be Australian citizens or permanent residents aged 18 or over. They must be acting voluntarily, have decision-making capacity, and have a terminal medical illness likely to cause death within 6 months or 12 months in the case of neurodegenerative conditions. Queensland's rules differ. The person applying needs to have a condition likely to cause death within a year. The medical condition must also cause suffering that cannot be relieved tolerably. Anyway, so the argument has been for a while that if we start down this path, well, then it will eventually lead to people being killed unnecessarily. Maybe it's not always voluntary, or maybe it's people, not just having physical ailments, which will definitely kill them. And this story here, like I said, physically healthy 28-year-old schedules euthanasia due to depression. She's from the Netherlands. So her name is Zoraya Terbeek, 28, lives in a small village in the Netherlands close to the German border, and has decided to take her own life with assisted suicide. In May, according to a reporter, Zoraya has struggled with her mental health her whole life and currently has a 40-year-old boyfriend. She's 28, he's 40. Take with that what you will. I mean, I don't see anything particularly wrong with it, but what kind of a boyfriend is this that he's not helping her out of this, convincing her that this is not the right way to go, helping her? She's suffering from depression. Crikey, you're not much of a boyfriend if you can't help her with her depression. So she's got a 40-year-old boyfriend. She loves, and her 2 cats. She has 2 cats. Too many, I reckon. Anyway, so she once dreamed of becoming a psychiatrist, but is now set to end her life later in the year after finding out about the method when visiting the doctors, who apparently told her, "There's nothing more we can do for you. It's never going to get any better." There's another picture of her. Nothing they can do for her. This is a mental health condition. Nothing they can do for her. Zuraya explained, I was always very clear that if it doesn't get better, I can't do this anymore. She's talking about mental health. Steph Groenwood, I don't know how you pronounce that. Anyway, a healthcare ethicist at Theological University Kampen in the Netherlands, said, "I'm seeing euthanasia as some sort of acceptable option brought to the table by physicians, by psychiatrists, when previously it was the ultimate last resort. Acceptable option. Where's this world going? I see the phenomenon, especially in people with psychiatric diseases, and especially young people with psychiatric disorders, where the healthcare professionals seem to give up on them more easily than before. This is just amazing, mind blowing that your so called health professionals are just giving up on patients with psychiatric issues. Well, then don't be a doctor if you're not, if you haven't got the ability to help someone live. Don't be a doctor. You're the last person we need. Zoraya is planning to be cremated after she is euthanized on the sofa in her living room. She's explained she doesn't want any sort of music during the event. A doctor will first administer a sedative, followed by a drug that will stop her heart. Her boyfriend will be at her side. Crikey, friends with a boyfriend like that. She said the doctor really takes her time. It is not that they walk in and say, "Lay down, please." Most of the time, it's first a cup of coffee to settle the nerves and create a soft atmosphere. Then she asks if I'm ready. I will take my place on the couch. She will ask again ask if I'm sure, and she will start up with the procedure and wish me a good journey, or in my case, a nice nap, because I hate it if people say safe journey. I'm not going anywhere. The 28-year-old doesn't have much family, so explained her boyfriend will find a nice spot in the woods to spread her ashes. She continued, "I'm a little afraid of dying because it's the ultimate unknown. We don't really know what's next, or is there nothing? That's the scary part." This is the point I'm talking about. This is the reason why I'm saying this is a slippery slope, and this is where Australia has taken us. Okay, we are down this slippery slope. So they can say, as it said before in the other article, that Australia, you have to be a citizen, you have to have a you have to have an illness that will end your life within 6 or maybe 12 months, and this kind of thing. But once you start down this track, you will see, you start down this path, you will see the rules starting to change. Things will starting to be relaxed, and they'll start to make exceptions for everything. Oh, well, this person has some serious mental health conditions, so we should make an exception just this once. Or maybe we'll make it as soon as you set that precedent. Oh, maybe we should make that exception again. Oh, let's just make that exception all the time. Well, this is just the norm now. So this is the slippery slope. So see what it says here. The Netherlands became the first country in the world to make assisted suicide legal. And this was in 2001. They were the first one. If we can't look at what's happening now in the Netherlands, well, then we're a lot dumber than I thought. Since then, it's become an increasingly popular option, a popular option. In 2022, there were 8,720 euthanasia deaths in the Netherlands, representing roughly 5% of all the country's deaths, and up from 4% the year before. In February, the 93-year-old former Dutch Prime Minister and his wife were euthanized. How the heck does that happen? So now it's 5%, represents 5% of the country's deaths, euthanasia. And that's not a slippery slope. Critics of suicide criticize suicide legalization, say that people like Ter Beek have been encouraged to kill themselves by the law, with some likening the suicide surge to a contagion. So Zoraya, when she was speaking to the original media outlet, Zoraya said, "It was an honor for me to provide insights to people who are open to learning something." Open to learning something. You've got to go back to this. Like I said, if this isn't an argument supporting if this is an example that supports the slippery slope argument, they legalized assisted suicide in 2001, and since then increasingly popular. 8,720 deaths in the Netherlands in 2022, and 5%, roughly 5% of the country's deaths. And that had gone up from 4% the year before. If this isn't an example, if this doesn't support the slippery slope argument, well, what does? Australia has started down this path. I guarantee you, we're going to see our statistics go up dramatically over the next 5 to 10 years. And are we Australians all going to be, sitting there pretending to be shocked when we start seeing people say, well, I'm suffering from mental health issues, so I want to be able to kill myself legally. I want to be able to commit suicide in a legal fashion. I want the government to help, to support me in this. This is the path we started down. And is it too late for us? When you start down this path of helping people to die, helping people to kill themselves, and making it legal, it is going to culminate in drastic consequences. That's all it's going to do. We've gone from this, if you've got 6 to 12 months to live, voluntary assisted dying, you're allowed to do that. And soon, how long is it going to take before we start hearing people say, well, I've got mental health conditions, I just don't want to live anymore, so can you just provide the tablets and the doctor and allow me to kill myself as well? That's where we're going. This is the slippery slope. And yet, we Australians, our country, our government, none of them have been smart enough to look at other nations that have done this and say, hey, maybe this was not a good idea. When 5% of your deaths in 1 year, close to 5% of your deaths in 1 year are suicide, you think maybe someone would be sitting there going, maybe we have a problem here. Maybe euthanasia is not good. Maybe it's not the best way to go. Here in Australia, we have a government that is just out to kill its own people. They have, in every state, I think it now has abortion, which is allowed up till birth. And now we're allowed to kill ourselves supposedly if we're dying anyway. But as you can see, it hasn't helped the Netherlands. They just keep changing the laws, making it easier, relaxing the laws, and pretty soon you've got 5% of your population killing themselves. This is the slippery slope. Let me know what you think. My name's Jay Fallon. All I can say is the Netherlands needs Jesus. Thanks for listening to The Slippery Slope.
They just fuel a desire that will take me higher. I'm on fire because nothing's gonna bring me down. Nothing's gonna bring me down. Nothing's gonna stop me now. No more deals to be done. And nothing's gonna just focus on the goal. Nothing's gonna stop me now. Nothing's gonna hold me down. Got my eye on the prize. Got my eye on the prize.